Hello people, the CV3J is back and we're getting back to some Minimalist runs. Next up we're going to the Murky Marsh of Morbid Morons. So, this first room is the one that I hate because it has these toads. I hate them because of their very wide hit detection. And they can come out of the swamp at pretty much any given time. They can even stick their tongues out to try and kill you that way. Well, the vein of my existence is gone. Oh, yeah. And for good measure, we're going to take him out because, well, I hate toads. In the US, they have horns. Here, however, they don't. It doesn't affect their difficulty, though. It's just a graphical difference. What really amuses me is how big the toads are. They're by far the biggest toads that I've ever seen, and they're one of the enemies that hurt more. You might want to turn around here just so you can get a bit of a wide shot on one of the bats. Now we have mudmen. They are nothing to worry about. Wow, I have no idea how I was expected to dodge that, but things aren't going to be much better in this room. Because now we have to deal with a skeleton ghost that got pretty close to killing me. And a whipping skeleton who also wanted to kill me. But the thing about these skeleton ghosts, they seem to vary on whether they want to appear at first or not. It's just very odd. Alright, so now the last room with mudmen in the game. Those were pretty close. Alright, 1, 2, 3, and the rest come whenever they want. So, switching to state 2, saving, and we're done. So now, it's time to fight Phantom Bat. You just want to kneel down this lower edge, whip down the first 2 forms, and then for the last 2, you want to destroy him with Holy Water, and that's pretty much it. I've tried fighting this guy whip only, and it is not fun at all. Plenty of outtakes, and guess where many of them came from? You should know just where. I hate these things so much just because of their wide hitbox that they have. I really hate them because they can just leap all over the place. Alright. 1. Oi! I knew those would get me. I was getting close to failing. So now it's time for Phantom Bat. This guy, he works differently in Castlevania 3. This is one of the few bosses that got downgraded, and I can kinda see why. And, I hate them. They clutter up the screen so much. In Castlevania 3, he is a joke. Why didn't you guys go in that? Alright, now for the last 3 forms, you just want to do that, but, why didn't you hit me when you were going over my head? Weird hitbox that these guys have. Jeez. It's ridiculous. Now, you want to whip the first 2 forms down. And then, if you're lucky enough, I guess you could just, but nah, there was no way that I could have done that at all. I hate Phantom Bat. So, coming to Castlevania 3 for a second, the US version, we're going to see why Phantom Bat is easier here. Well, quite simply, no invincibility phases. Yeah, you couldn't do this in the Japanese version, so good luck. This is just one of the few bosses that's a lot easier in the American European ports than it is in the Japanese. That is just very odd, but I just hate it. On to the analysis. So, yeah. Time for the difficulty analysis. Let's bring up the original score. I gave this place a 3 out of 10 because, as annoying as the toads were, the boss was pretty easy with Grant because all he had to do was just stand right under him and just throw axes and he's pretty much dead. Right when you're throwing his axes and throwing your axes, and you basically kill him that way. Now, for the minimalist run standpoint, I give it a 4 out of 10. It is just a lot more difficult to have to get through that fight with the whip. I actually have beaten him with the whip a few times, but that was due to pure luck. The problem with Phantom Bat, unlike in the American version, where he had no invincibility phases, here he actually does, which makes timing your hits very, very difficult. And if you don't time them just right, then all the miniatures are going to completely avoid your attack range. So what you want to do, if you're going to go from what I did, just whip that one whole bat, and you want to whip the one whole bat and the halves, and then when they get into quarters and eighths, then you want to throw the holy water at and then end the fight. It is possible to do it with the whip, but it's extremely difficult. I have tried doing it before, and it's just that hard. In the cliffside entrance, though, it'll be a lot easier because we'll have a lot more space to work with. Though that won't be saying much. It's still going to be pretty difficult to time those hits, that's for sure. So yeah, 4 out of 10. Next up, we're going to be entering the stage of awesome, and dark and mysterious. We're going back to Alucard's cave. This is TF32 signing out. Have a great night, and I hope you're enjoying this.